Good evening. It's good to see everyone this evening. I feel like we're trying to get back to normal. Let's go ahead and call our meeting to order, and we'll get started. Okay. At this time, we'll have an invocation, and we'll see Tony on our invocation. He's always ready for the call. So.
Dear gracious and heavenly Father, we thank you for allowing us to gather here tonight. And Lord, in this world of turmoil right now, with the pandemic, riots, and people just really unrest, we know that you are in control of everything and everything that goes on in this world. And Lord, I just pray that in this moment we can find peace and seek you first, and seek your wisdom, seek your purpose, and that this meeting is productive in creating and moving that purpose forward. So everything that we do tonight, may your hands be on it, may your fingerprints be all over it, so that people know that you are here in the midst of this, in our presence, and we commit this meeting to you, and all the good things that come out of it go to you. It is in Christ's name we do pray. Amen.
Amen. Join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. At this time, we'll entertain a motion to approve our minutes from our previous meeting in May.
Motion approved.
Motion approved by Councilman Alexander. Do we have a second? Second by Councilman Haygood. All in favor? Thank you. At this time, we'll hear any public comment.
Drew Johnston.
Hey, Drew.
Hey,
Appreciate you guys joining us tonight. You got a couple of guests with you?
yeah, this is, I just got one with me tonight. This is Leonard Downey. He's another coach in our soccer club. He helps run the older club travel age group of the soccer club, and he's got 3 kids that play in the soccer club and been coaching for us for a long time. So he's one of the people on the board with us that we've put together in the last year or so. More so there's more than one person running it on their own, and we're getting more ideas in and brainstorming to try to help us grow into the future. Oh, sorry.
We can hear you, but the people online probably.
Oh, okay.
All right, Drew Johnson, again, thank you, Drew, for joining us.
But anyway, so Mac and I had talked several weeks ago, back when the pandemic had first started, that about our club's plans for the future and what we were wanting to do to move forward and continue to help the club grow. And I told him that I would like the opportunity to come to a council meeting and let the councilmen know, let the town know that our club doesn't have any intention of leaving Williamston. There's some things that's happened in the last several weeks where we had an opportunity to have another field to play practices on and play games at. We took that opportunity in Pelzer, but we don't have any intention on moving the entire club. We're obviously very thankful and grateful for everything that the town's done in the time that I've run it for the last 7 years, and even before that, letting us use the field across from the Williamston Park, letting us use Brookdale over the last couple of years, and we've gotten funds from the hospitality funds. We didn't intend for it to come across like we weren't grateful or thankful for everything that we've gotten, and that we wanted to keep the working relationship that we've had going over the last couple of years and continue that into the future. But the facts are, we've grown a lot in the time that I've been here, the last 7 years. We're continuing to grow, and hopefully we'll continue to keep growing, and we're going to need more space to play games at. If you've ever been by the fields in town on a Tuesday or Thursday, there's upwards of 150 or more kids out there, plus their families, and it gets congested out there with traffic. parking, people coming across the street, all that. And like I said, we want to continue the relationship that we've got with the town, and with Mac, the rest of the council members, with the goal of keeping soccer here for a long time. And, you know, I think the biggest problem we've had in the past is my fault on a lack of communication with what we're wanting to do, and I want to fix that. And I talked to Mac about that recently too, fix that immediately to where we're an open book, where the town knows exactly what we're trying to do. You guys have pretty much given us anything that we've asked for over the last couple of years, and you know, we don't want that to change. And we welcome, you know, I'll be happy to talk with any of the council members, anybody in the town with what we're planning moving forward. And you know, if y'all want to come to one of our board meetings to see kind of some of the things that we've been planning for the future, we welcome anybody to those.
Right.
And if anybody has any questions for me, I'm obviously happy to answer any of them.
May I?
Sure.
Drew, number one, thank you for what you guys do with the soccer program. As you know, I got family that's participating in the program. I think it's a really, really good program. I think probably where the question came about was the Pelzer meeting that, I mean, I happened to be there, and, you know, I heard that the disadvantages of the fields in Williamston, which I certainly understand. There was some good points made. What had concerned me was, in your words, where we were looking for a place to call home, which I took it to be as you guys were looking for somewhere else to be as your home base of operations, and maybe come to Williamston and use a field now and then. But you guys were looking mainly toward developing a program outside of Williamston. That's what I understood.
Well, and I that was the most people I'd ever talked in front of before, and I don't have really any problem doing it, but
You did a good job, by the way. You articulated.
Kind of black out a little bit. I had several notes. I still have them written down from what I planned on talking about. Well, we were trying to show to the town, because we knew there would be some resistance there, but you know, we're trying to show like we do have a short-term plan and a long-term plan, and I didn't intend for that, if it came off that way, to where we were looking to go elsewhere to call home, but we are looking for a place where we could have one or two full-size soccer fields for older kids to play on. We've got
Sure.
the area and the facilities for the younger kids, you know, up to 10, 11, 12 years old, but once they get older than that, we have to have a bigger area to play in. And one of the first things that we ever talked about at our first board meeting was we do need to have a complex, you know, Palmetto Soccer Club complex that we can host games at, bring people into Williamston, or, you know, into our area to play games, you know, teams from Greenville and Clemson and Anderson and Spartanburg and Greenwood. I mean, teams across the upstate would come to play at our facilities if we had them. But I agree with you. I didn't intend for it to come off like that, but I can certainly understand why it would have.
Hey, I'm tickled pink. I think it's a win-win for, you know, both municipalities, and I support your program 100%. So.
I really appreciate your vision, Drew, and certainly look forward to talking to you and visiting one of your board meetings. This is part of a larger conversation on the importance of youth sports in our area, and we certainly want the soccer program to grow, and, you know, maybe you'll find another field in West Pelzer too. I mean, we'd love to see it become more regional, and, you know, it's an honor for us to give you the support that we give to you. But we do think of the soccer program as starting here, and we think of this as the Palmetto Soccer's home, and we want it to continue to be. But youth sports is a big impact in a lot of ways on our community growth. This is something that Envision Williamston is involved in, something that the town is involved in, and something that our future plans will be involved in. So a lot of this information discussions will go to the Planning Commission. We've got a comprehensive plan that's being considered as soon as we can get things back on an even keel. Those projects will come, you know, through our Planning Commission back to council for approval. And I think in the meantime, it's really important that council understands the importance of youth sports and the importance of our local soccer programs. We're going to be suggesting a large amount of funding for us to implement this comprehensive plan. So I plan on presenting to council that we should invest at least $500,000 in implementing this comprehensive plan. Part of that will be youth sports. So I look forward to visiting with you and visiting with the board, and I think it's a fantastic type of growth for our community. So appreciate all you guys do.
Yeah, hey, thank you guys for having me. Like I said, if you need anything, you know where to find me.
All right, I'll find you soon.
Good?
Thanks, Drew.
Thanks, Drew.
Any other public comment? This time we'll move into our reports, and I'm going to have the first report. I want to report, I've been trying to work with Anderson County Emergency Operations Center and county officials, and trying to see the governor's guidelines on what we should be doing. And I thought we could get the park open by Memorial Day. I was just dying to get it open by Memorial Day, and that just could not happen for several reasons. And so we continue to work on that and continue to speak with local officials and trying to be prudent and conservative, but above all, to protect public safety. As a local government, that is our #1 priority. So we want to move forward, and so tonight I'd like to announce that we are and have planned to open the park in the morning. There's going to be a soft opening, and we'll watch this week to week to see how it can progress. But certainly if it was up to me, we'd have had it open 2 months ago. But we can't all get our wishes. This is a real situation, and we need to deal with it prudently and responsibly. And so we are going to have a soft opening of the park. We're going to get the barricades out of the way, and we'll have where you could park in the park. At this time, the public restrooms will be replaced by porta-johns with hand sanitizing stations in them, so that we make sure we're doing all we can there. And we will ask people to practice social distancing. We are not renting shelters at this time. I hope that within 2 weeks or 4 weeks that we could have that going on. And the playground will be closed right now, just to try to have all due diligence and practice as much safety for the public as we can. So hopefully we'll make positive steps to have the park fully open very soon, and I think that we will have it open very soon. But right now we want to have a transitional approach to this so that we don't jump in over our head and try to do this responsibly. So that's my announcement for tonight. The park will be open tomorrow, and hope you guys watching on Facebook and everybody here, hope you'll go by and visit. We will have patrolmen coming through, and we will ask people to practice social distancing. If you have some kind of immunocompromised condition, whether it's age or infirmity, or you're taking some medication that compromises your immune system, you may not want to visit the park at this time. If you want to wear a mask at the park, that's certainly we would encourage that as well for public safety. But this will be us testing the water again, so that we can do this responsibly and prudently and try to move back to more of a normal in our community. So that's my announcement for tonight. Chief, you got a report?
Yeah, I was going to make just some small comment on some things that we're doing. I think you guys got a lot to discuss. We did get a GE for General Electric for Heroes. We got a grant. They gave us a washing machine, gave us a refrigerator, and a stove and a dryer due to the fact of C-19 restaurants and all that closed offices can fix meals. Also, if there's any kind of contamination, we can actually take it and wash the clothes there, dry the clothes there for contamination. So we did get a grant for that, and got that put in place. We're also working on a JAG grant in reference to the C-19, working on a JAG grant in order to get some equipment that we need, suits and different things like that, in case we have contact and those kind of things. Also, we're getting applying for some money too, for some overtime money as well for that. We had 2 incidents, maybe it was 2 or 3 incidents where we had situations where we had a possible contact, didn't have a contact, but as a practice coming from past 72-hour waiting period. So we had one individual was at a family gathering and somebody tested positive. Well, he had to set out for 72 hours, so we had to replace him, back up and replace him with somebody that we had 2 officers that came in contact with someone that was possible. It was a negative, but they had to set out for, I think we did 72 hours plus on them at the time. So this JAG grant that we are looking, trying to get, it also be able to backfill in reference to that response to the pay and overtime and those kind of things. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Chief. Tony? Our other Tony? Not Councilman Tony?
It was good to see real people other than my kids, trying to teach them in school. Well, of course, the pandemic brought everything to a screeching halt, so it's hard to recruit business and get people going when everything's shut down. But despite that, we actually had 3 businesses open between March and this past Saturday. Big Clean LLC, car wash, pressure washing, located at 200 Greenville Drive, opened up on March the 2nd. OGP Smoke, that's a tobacco shop at 12 North Hamilton, opened up on April 30th. And then Home and Heart Designs and Boutique opened at 1110 Anderson Drive this past Saturday. So we've had 3 open, so all in all, that's a win. One thing that I have been doing that came out of this is I've been sitting on meetings with the SBDC every Friday, virtual meetings, and I've connected with Earl Gregoridge. He works at the SBDC. He is actually wanting, he lives on Depot Road, he's actually wanting to get involved and help grow business and help stabilize things in Pelzer and Williamston. And so he and I have been meeting and talking, and we're working on putting together packages that we can actually aggressively pursue and target businesses when everything kind of gets back flowing again, and go pursue them and attack them and give them ideas of how to come here, what their options are, have spaces where they can move into, and really just go after them. And then as he has people come into his office who want to start businesses, he can hand them this and say, hey, have you thought about Williamston? Because he has lots of people who come in and want to start a business, and hey, here's a place where you can go do that. Also with him, we're going to work on working with our existing businesses to help stabilize, help them come in, do individual appointments, talk about your accounting practices, talk about what your books look like, get all those things in order so when it comes time for those PPP repayments, the auto repayments, that people have the information and know what everything looks like too. So he's wanted to be a real big part of that. So the SBDC wants to be a physical presence here, be here a few days a week, if not more, and start helping that process and even helping vet new businesses as they come in as well, so that we increase their chance of success. Last thing we're working on too, working with Riggs Partners, which is an ad agency in Greenville. They have a grant where they will actually do a free ad campaign. So I want them to do help do an ad campaign for the town. This will take place in October, but the application is due in July, so we have to wait for them to say yes, and then come October we can sit down with them and spend 24 hours just putting together the campaign and putting something together so that myself as a Vision Williamston, my board members, councilmen, and have something to attract businesses with and go and pursue them even more so and have something attractive to that. Last thing is Anderson University, but they actually agreed to work with us. The first step was to give discounted tuition to all PBA member businesses, that's including their employees and employees of the town of Williamston. And of course, we weren't able to go forward because as soon as that happened, the pandemic hit and they stopped and started going to online training, and their people were focused on that. But we are going to have a meeting, probably a Zoom meeting on Wednesday to talk about next steps and what they can do to partner with the town as well. So that's all I have.
All right. Thank you, Tony. We'll hear from a codes update with Debbie Chapman.
Good evening. For codes update, this is March through May. We had 3 cases of illegal dumping, 2 properties condemned, trash, junk, and debris in yards. There was 20. Trash left after evictions. There were 3. The town doesn't pick up after eviction, and sometimes I have to remind them. Tall grass and weeds. There was 12. Junk vehicles in yards without tags or insurance in 9 different locations. Contractors operating without business license, 3. Contractors placing construction material on the street for pickup, and our ordinance states they have a dumpster or haul off. There was 3 of those. Dog complaints. I don't do the animal control, but I do work close with animal numerous calls have came through the CAD and also to me about this resident. And that resident has been cited 12 to 13 pending violation charges for that one location. And that, at that location, this past week, the dogs, yes, 4 dogs were deemed as vicious animals, so we have a little bit more leverage in dealing with it. In planning and development and zoning, we had 2 new house letters of approval requests for permits, one request for building apartments, and several electrical and remodeling letter of approval for requests. We had a zoning board of appeal hearing where a guy wanted to split 2 lots into 1 lot so that a second home could be built. He already had the first home built. That was approved unanimously. We had also we have past week over 300 rental permits I sent out last week for renewal. This is going to take me about 3 or 4 weeks to complete because there's over 1,100 rental homes in Williamston or rental properties that have to be addressed. So it's going to take a little while. But we'll see those coming back in soon, I hope. Y'all have any questions, concerns? I know when you look through your list, you're going to see a lot of things marked up. I've been busy.
Appreciate all you do, Debbie. Thank you for your report tonight. No other reports. We'll move on to old business. We have second reading on the 2020 election ordinance. Do we have a motion to bring this to the floor for second reading?
So moved.
So moved by Councilman Alexander. Do we have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Councilman Haygood. Do you have any discussion on this?
Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Originally, there was some discussion about some funding for another study. Is that included in this ordinance? I didn't see it in this version.
For the election ordinance?
No, sorry. On budget. Carry on, sorry.
All right, now that we're on the same page, this is the election
ahead.
ordinance, the ordinance, just to make sure, an ordinance authorizing and regulating the 2020 general election. And we've had a motion and a second on that. Do we have some discussion on this? Okay. Hearing none, we will vote. Call the question, I'm sorry. All in favor? We have none opposed. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, at this time, we'll move on to our next item, second reading on the 2021 budget ordinance. Do we have a motion to bring this to the floor for second reading?
So moved.
So moved by Councilman Burgess. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, I think David seconded. So we have a second by Councilman Harvell. Do you have any discussion?
Mayor, now, it would be appropriate to ask my question.
Yes, sir.
I know there was originally some talk and discussion or work session about some funding for a study. I did not see that in this proposed version. Has that been cut, or?
No, we are waiting with our pandemic situation, we're leaving the budget as presented. If we need to amend that later for other considerations that may come as recommendations from the Planning Commission, then we can consider that at that time. But right now, we're just staying with the budget as presented.
I think that's prudent.
Any other discussion? Call the question. All in favor? Thank you, gentlemen. And our last item of business, the second reading on ordinance to purchase real property on Mineral Lane. And this is ordinance entitled an ordinance authorizing purchase of real property on Mineral Park Lane. This is second reading. Do we have a motion to bring this to the floor? I'll make a motion to bring it to the floor. Do we have a second?
A second.
Second by Councilman Haygood. Do we have discussion on this? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor? We have None opposed. Thank you, gentlemen.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
move to amend our agenda to, under new business, to add in discussion and possible action taken on the full reopening of the town parks. As of right now, I think we've went on an administrative decision, and has gotten so far, we've been so far into it that it's more of a policy decision at this point. I think council should
It
probably
is
take
not a
some
policy
action.
decision at this point.
Okay, I move the
Okay.
council take action on it tonight under new business to amend the agenda. I'll make that in the form of a motion.
Make a motion. We have a second, Councilman? Okay, we have a motion and a second to amend the agenda to include discussion of fully reopening the park. Is that what you said?
Discussion and possible action.
Discussion to fully reopening the park.
Discussion and possible action taken regarding.
And
reopening.
discussion and possible action taken to reopen the park. Is that, you understood that as the
Yes.
motion? And that's a second. Okay. Do we have any discussion on that? Well, I will ask, as discussion, what grounds would you like to discuss fully reopening the park? We're trying to do this in a prudent manner, and we're taking action to reopen the park as fully as Anderson Emergency Operations Center and county authorities and DHEC and CDC resources we have feel that it's prudent to do this. So
I move to call the question, and that can be debated in the new business, if passed by council.
This is discussion.
I move to call the question.
Okay. We'll call the question. All in favor of moving in the agenda? Thank you. We will now consider the discussion and possible action under new business of fully reopening the park. Possible action by council. This is not administrative action. Okay. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilman Burgess.
Second.
Have a second by Councilman Hagan. Okay, do we have discussion?
Mayor, if I may.
Yes.
As you know, most of our parks, or all of our parks, have been closed for quite some time, and we've went through a steady process of reopening across the state. And we're one of the few municipalities around that still has parks closed. I realize the county has made the decision to keep their parks closed or soft opened. That obviously that's their prerogative. There's no state mandate that we do so. Originally, when we found out about the pandemic, there was a lot of unknowns that caused us to err on the side of extreme caution. And now that we're several months into it, we now know enough information to be able to make informed decisions. And it's my opinion, and I think the opinion of the majority of our residents, that they would like to see our parks open immediately.
Do you know how many residents we have? Over 4,000 residents. So how many opinions do you have? Less than 200?
I have
Less
been
than
elected to
200?
represent the folks that I hear from.
Less than
and
200?
I've heard from quite a few.
Less than 200?
You can badger me all you want.
No, I'm asking a question of fact.
I understand. And
What's
so,
the fact?
The fact is, I have been contacted by numerous residents
How
who
many?
wish that our parks be open. I won't discuss it.
192.
Okay,
192. We have 4,000 residents to consider.
okay,
Okay? That's a statement of fact.
okay.
Okay? So, however you'd like to dramatize this, it is not in the interest of public safety.
Okay.
And I think it's irresponsible on the part of council to try to supersede the prudent actions of the administration.
Mayor, let me, if I may, we have not been, at least I haven't, and I'm Mayor Pro Tem, have not been consulted not one time about any actions been taken so far, whether it be shutting down town hall, closing parks, or anything else.
I must have missed your call, Mr. Burgess. When did you call me to ask me
I
about
found
that?
out it on Facebook.
When did you call me to
I
ask me?
found out about it on
Now, when
Facebook.
did you call me personally?
I didn't know about it till I
Never.
get contact on
When
Facebook.
have you ever called me personally?
I have had no need to call you.
If you want to be informed about administrative actions or administrative issues, you're welcome to call anytime, as any councilman is. And
Mayor.
every councilman here knows that.
Mayor, I move that we open the parks fully immediately. I'll make that form of a motion.
Make that a form of motion. Okay.
I'll second the
Well,
motion.
we have not ended discussion, okay?
I call the question.
We have not ended discussion.
Mayor,
I'll call the question. I'll call the question. We'll have further discussion, if only by me, okay? Does anyone else have any discussion? Hearing none. Let me say that this is a dramatization, a sensationalism of a current issue that is a common tactic by Mr. Burgess. Everyone knows this, okay? It is a small number of people whose voice is very important, and we're happy to hear those voices. But it does not mean that we do not have issues of public safety to consider. And we're trying our best to do this in a prudent manner, which does exercise an overabundance of caution. And personally, I would love to see the parks back open, but we do want to do this in a prudent way. And as mayor, I intend to lead our town forward in a safe and prudent manner. And it is my hope that we will have the parks fully open as quickly as possible. But according to the health officials and public officials and government guidelines that we've been hearing, that we've been discussing, it is not time. It is time to do a soft opening, to take a week and see if we have a spike in cases from that opening. We don't want to be like Greenville County, who has now exploded with positive cases, okay? Because we're taking an abundance of caution. It is my responsibility, according to my oath, to watch out for the people of Williamston, of this town. And I intend to do that, and I will do that. And this is an administrative decision. And I intend to continue the actions as I've stated them. And I hope the council would see reason in this and understand it and see it for what it is. Nothing more than sensationalizing an issue on Facebook and trying to come in with a minority opinion that has a voice. I'm not saying that's unimportant at all. Every voice in Williamston is important. But to try to come in here and sensationalize that for political purposes, I think is a very low, poor character. And I'm really surprised that we even have this issue coming up in this way, when a simple phone call or conversation could have sufficed. This is nothing more than a public display of sensationalism of this issue. Now, if council wants to be a part of that, I can't do a thing about that. But I will not lower my character to participate in such a political, sensationalized issue brought by Mr. Burgess. Do we have any other discussion?
Respectfully, Mr. Mayor, I don't believe that it is sensationalized. We were told that the park would be open on June the 1st. And
By who?
by the town's posting on Facebook.
By the town's posting on Facebook.
Yes, that is correct. And we were informed again this morning via the town's post on Facebook that the park would not be opening until June the 15th. Now, you've made the point that your phone line is open any time that we can call, but we shouldn't have to call to find out if the rules or the dates have changed. We should be informed that they're going to change.
If the dates change and you'd like to know the reason, I think you should call Councilman Alexander.
I think it would be respectful, though, if the mayor would inform council that he's planning on changing the dates so that we can inform our constituents, because I had a person call me yesterday and wanted to know if the parks would be open today. They were going to take their youth group to the soccer fields to play Frisbee golf. And I said, yes, the parks will be open. And so this morning, when I saw the post on Facebook that the parks were not actually going to be open today, it was going to be the 15th, I had to call this person back and say, hey, look, I was wrong. The parks aren't opening today. So it would have been nice if I had had that information ahead of time, so I could have told them to begin with, no, the parks aren't going to be open, even though it said that it would be.
I understand.
We were changing the date.
And to add to that, most of the residents in our town do not understand our form of government and the decisions being made, so they don't understand why. They're asking us, why are the parks still closed? And I don't have a good answer for them.
The answer is to give them my phone number, and I'm happy to talk to them.
I've done that, but
and I've
you have to
gotten
understand
zero
too,
calls,
you have
so
to
I don't.
understand.
I have to question if this is
Are you
legitimate.
going to talk over me, or are you going to let me speak?
If I need to.
Well, then, if you want to have a meeting on your own, you can have a meeting on your own. I'll get out.
No, go right ahead. But typically councilmen are recognized by the
We're not gonna
chair.
follow Robert's Rules of Order or anything else.
Robert's rules is that you're recognized by the chair. All right. Well, due to lack of a quorum, we will stand adjourned.
Mayor, if you, I think you can, it would be appropriate to make a motion to adjourn, even though there's no quorum.
Okay.
The motion will be in order.
Make a motion to adjourn. David, have a second by Councilman Harvell. All in favor? We stand adjourned.